Ati afia mamu nyina ha eba UTV so premtibra ka sebo a yede asuma na awie na yede fa beka junction ebe yedi kan eko Supreme Court wo hwe wo nsema nti ne aka chire kakra nanso empanyi se ekachi nanso ense kwakra nti ne yebedi komakwa Supreme Court samsam a Mampereda Mahama na lawyer for the eko na yakọ na shebe John vet na asoafo ye vet omo so yede ho nsem ebeba de fi won so a na wiase nyina na dai omo to de si wo say yede ye radical radio da na se ahye say radio da se de gina ye kasai nti yede ho nsem ebeba afei yarbonne ye Ebola eba bibimemu ha ye nyina nim say eko no asan sori na no na mama nka bonkuru chese we de ayayihu enti yenhwe na yenye hu bibi we de sama do bi na me de bra mu se kase boda me ka mu say this way chocolate drink and after this way non-dairy tea creamer best point savings salons and after specialized in suit special drink woman eboa ama me de kasebo ya abramu din ade Agya Kwabena afi kasebo no emu ensam nie empagifo e man pen na adodan kwakufo ado ayi omo so omeboa na emu oman no enne omo tutu ebinom ano sisi amino kase ewra elsla owusu amampani ayi ne so meye yenkitahudie soafo na omo tutu na no e parliament house a ye kone akoko tiedia e koso wo kakra.
Flout that law. As a citizen of this country, you are subject to the laws of this land and the sanctions applicable. And we cannot by any stretch of the imagination say when the law is being applied, it means it's an infringement on the right to free expression.
My question is within the context of your own reference to a judicial decision that those fines, assuming that is what informed a closure, you had done harm to freedom of expression.
The judicial decision was that they did not have the right to impose fines and they should enforce the law which applies to those who operate without authorization.
So did the imposition of the fines occasion the closure of any FM station?
No. The imposition of a fine did not occasion the closure of any FM station. Those operating without valid authorizations in violation of the law were closed down in
closure and imposition of fines. Strongly, you are making a case that you had personally not targeted any particular radio station as no. It's very important. Neither had NCA targeted any particular radio station for political reasons. I just would want you to underscore that point from what you just said.
Mr. Chairman, it is not possible for me to target any particular radio station for special treatment. Many of the names, I had no idea of what the political leanings or ownership of many of these stations are, apart from the known ones. And I believe even the chairman's own station suffered from this exercise, or a station he's affiliated with suffered from this exercise. It couldn't have been selective or discriminatory or unfair. Unfortunately, in enforcing the law, you have no way of knowing where the chips would fall. And so you work to ensure that you do it with a human face. And I believe that's what the NCA was trying to do when it imposed the fines, instead of closing down the stations outright. I'm not sure they opted for one or the other, but they figured that, and many affected persons did, on appeal to me, I directed them to go back to the NCA to sit down and talk to them and see how they could enter into payment terms and arrangements for them to settle and some did and started paying. Others chose to go to court, which was their right.
So Muntie and Radio Gold were not targets?
Absolutely not. If they hadn't acted in contravention of the law, nobody could have touched them or targeted them, no matter how much you disliked or hated them. You couldn't touch them because they would have been compliant with the law. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to clarify the air on that. Thank you.
Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable nominee, this is my question goes back to connectivity. There are many communities lacking telephone connectivity in this country. Recently, His Excellency President Mohammed was in Turwe in the Savannah region, attending the burial of the late member of the Council of State, Tulewura Muhammad. And all attempts to reach him, even in an emergency, proved futile. Similar issues persist in other places. That's it. Unless they come out of there, you are not able to make contact with them by telephone. And so I want to find out if in the event that you are confirmed, what will be the
yetu yakase bonu so na ye ko ankwankura nnwumaku ahodo a ye da obodwumaku ahodo ekuo wo magana mu ye Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association wo mu ne amama nkabom kunu nkrabata hwe humesua na afi ye obodepe abode nyasape mu nimde ene amamre ho nsam so ntwe UNESCO fo akabom ade na da esi ho ade ayenhyemu akai enkantanso a radio wo ewo oman puntu eso.
Enipa betie radio na ensem efri mu ba no akoyi amaye na mansanka muko no edi February anasa ogefo de to so dumi ensasi wono mu se eye World Radio Day. Ghana yakawiasun amaya hyefa na mpanifo akasa chi mu se ebra coronavirus abeyemfa radio no so emfa education ema adehye ni nyina. Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association giba eni UNESCO fo ekabo mu edifa no na anamusini edi ema UNESCO oruade yelo ekasaye.
Almost 500 radio recorded here in Ghana. It's not bad, but we noticed that the community radio, there are not enough community radio, and you know that the communication, the rural area, it's a challenge, and the community radio can be really the key tool, the key media to reach the communities with the developmental messages that we want to share with all the citizens.
Kwajefo penyi Edema Media Foundation for West Africa, Orua Suleiman Abrahima enso ekasaye.
Political party bi obebia no ehwese wo mu amanfo ebenya frequencies bebre. Nti NDC wo so a ombeche frequencies na ma NDC for sa MPP for ba ye wo ma che frequencies ama MPP for sa, even though mfitiase no ye fi se wo mu ebeboa amasa ne no akofom, but na wie ne ehu an se ne NDC for ye no abi na wo mu so to aba be ye nsunsun bi anim eba ne sanso am se stations no obi a politician as woje na enye sika na ode pe na emom ode pe power na professionalism ne ade na ye kan nyina no etumre bi enye no no mode be ye adwuma ne nyina ne se ye ona no no ye regional chairman ana ye ona ye MP ana ye ona ye we ne ope ene ye ka ne ebeboa party no ene ye megidi se ye koye nim no se NCA jaisa ne ye se ye ne ye wo power MPP ana NDC nti ye che frequency no to se ne ye che pano se ne omo ye no no a ebeboa ama omo sabeka frequency no be hu say ya frequency no ya JC de be radio adwuma ya anyi say ya de be politics
giba dwumtene so nsmode etu edwa eni
tia ye hyemu netitri a ye pese ye dwendwen ho eye kwan fofora ye betumi afaso na ye de ahwe radio dwumadi efa no se ne kwan ye befaso a ye benya sika kwan ye befaso a ye de bebo ye ho ban kwan ye befaso a ye beye ye adwuma na ye ho akoso aba mfaso sa mmiri yi mu covid mmiri yi ne ye kan se obi antine fie covid mmiri mu ne ye kan se adwuma ye fo fa enko adwuma fa antine fie kwan ben so na radio ebefa na yama se adwumadie yi atumi akoso enti eno ne ade ba ko afi World Radio Day no ye hwe se ye betumi adi ho enkomo
Mampedi de mra ba so bibia COVID-19 hihye no ani so no mra ema ho kwan se police for nche no na no na Cantonment Divisional Police Commander Superintendent Peter Simon no akabati edato dwe akiri mu se no kwase mu ni omo ho na be den se ye chi wo ma COVID-19 mra yi mu buso a wo betumi ro mu egu ho
Police penyi a wo cantonment ene UTV di nkomo ene wo kyerese na wo twetwe mu no nipa be aduasan so 37 ye kyeche wo mo so mu nhye nose mask na afensu coronavirus mbara no mabuso na ye kye wo mo no ye gya wo mo esan se ye ntimi fo mu ngu posifo akache ema yade no entretre wabo Ghana fo kokose ye nya hwe ni mo ye ho ban free coronavirus ne ho wode nsem we atudwa ebra zoom line adwumako no edi enuro peti posifo atene be ye wo ha ene aduasam ewo enkran
a few weeks back we did an operation and did arrest a number of culprits.
How many?
About 37. But for fear of maybe getting somebody infested to come and infest our inmates, we really caution them and warn them not to abuse those protocols, and then we release them. But ever since, I think we've not had any more culprits.
Opinion of Zoom Lion for so ever and crying. Aye, Ora Morgan on UTV AD and Common.
This one is a call from the police authorities for us to do another nationwide disinfection, fumigation and disinfection for the police establishments that we have in the country. So now, just as I mentioned, we will do all the barracks, we will do all the cells. So when we get to any premise, they open the cells for us. They take the inmates to another an open place. Then we do the cells for some time. Then they go back. The inmates go back. Then all the opening, all the various places. You know that in the police station, you always have people coming in and out, especially those who have cases come in and out, and you cannot know those who are coming in with the virus. So it is very important that a time like this, that the virus has stepped back up again, we also quickly do the disinfection exercise.
Eno achino enatema Central Regional Police Commander ensudi ensemse tudwa ebra Zoom Lion for di eno pete meye ahodo ma posifo no
ne Zoom Lion for eye ne se omonso be boaboa a disinfect anase omafumigate ye offices no ya ni ho akade de be ye ejomo ba enso ye bebe yapono ama ahwe won se omutumi aye adwuma wie emra ma hye se yewi a ye ntwe be don hwere ba ko ansa na yakọ adam no so ebedi so na se na edema local government ene aban ene Zoom Lion for adwuma mo sha se fi nura ye police stations no omako bebre na ne abedu original headquarters ambasa to so akosi New Town ene police stations Watema committee 1 committee 2 nyina
tema opinion of Zoom Lion for so kasaya na nsem enie
se yenyen se COVID-19 ba yi se kwada man homeless bebre a tori nipa enti no aban hu ne se hu hia se ye besa aba police ya be bo aduro se ne be ya se COVID bi mpo anom virus bi anom e betime kum virus na empenifo na se police fo no omonyo makwa wonsan no matem omoye omadwuma esan se so nipa ni empomudin a ano so ni oni ahoto a ontimi nyadwuma yare eto ye ya a police fo no ombo man ho ban enti twa se omano so timbo mo ban se na be ya yare bi entimi ntra police station no na omonya ahoden ene ahofama etimi dia badwuma
na se ko ti mantem so de ene na akame se wobra protocol no Cantonment force wo munya ba bi fa wo mo a ye nyama nema bi egu no na so mabu mra no so de egu no ko ti mantem a mo chese esan se eba bi ede nkrofo begu hye de ne honti no so bi bu mra no so mpo a aya na edin se de omo betumi afa mra kwan so
Oti mantem ne ye mantem foforo mampanyi akufu ado egiamra so boye na court dan enoso nti ama asemdie hu ayedin we ena posifo edeto aban enim senke be ya wonhwe na komiti court dan bebre emfama won wono mbu coronavirus mra ne so yentimi nchi wo moisanse nya baabi odom beko akobo mokwadu posi panyini ede nsem we tunsentwofo nim ebra ye di enuro epeti posifo atena ye ahodo oti mantem nim.
Problem we have in the region is that most areas don't have the judiciary there. So it's quite difficult if you arrest and decide to keep them in the police custody. They may equally be infected or be they will rather transfer the sickness or the disease to the police facility. So what we do is that at the point that they are seen not to be complying with the protocols, they are forced to buy or get one and use as a deterrent to others.
Savannah Regional Police Commander enso ekasaye bra yedi enuro epiti posifo atena ye ahodo ni mu.
And looking at the type of machines that Zoom Lion have brought and spraying the atmosphere, people around this area will have a benefit from it because it is not standing at one place to go far. So the community too also benefit as far as the virus is concerned. So it is very, very important.
Savannah Regional Zoom Lion Manager enso ekasafa ekwayomofa so aboahwe ameyako etia coronavirus.
Facilities yeah over 54. Senior commander eboy no. Omo 9 district administrative offices yebeye na any 26 police stations and yebeye na, and then the facilities are omo rented apartments, barracks, barrier, all other facilities via police for no omunya direct contact. We will disinfect the entire place. Yes.
Yakwa Toymantemu Council of States bedwano Toymantemu omoto aba no womentumi anto ama yampawo obi obebisi mantem na namu nene yenya ne tiese yese omoto aba ntie kwa na musini chase juru ho dem bisasa womentumi ato aba na wie na ho na yi no mutumi nto yenso a abreben anobato chaso tebenka ahwansem akokosi sai
yo Agya Kwabena Dembra Elekansa pepe yenyimde last Friday or yesterday ya wabetini na Ghana hayi nara watching the form there obiara be in Council of State elder na wakwe kujina wana anemu ama region biara wowo na obano western region hade na yede no nyimpa etia na wojina damo nyimpa etia wojina yi no mokor film oye de ofim de ono oye na agenda aha manyamaro kwa no onjine bio ono Samurubobo dina oye inturi bonke akomia ono wo 53 years na yawo Daniel Question no so 65 yawo Dramani Kwabena no so 45 yawo Eunice Jacqueline Boa ono o 56 years na yawo Nana Kwesi Intu ono was 72 years na yawo Stephen Herbert Okran ono was 68 years. The last Friday when you nara wakwe no oye Dramani Kwabena de or resign there when ya engineer bio nti oka nyimpa enum na nyimpa enum no wode hyehyado no no mu ebie nipa na wotu wonya abani bi ebie an ebata na waka no wentu wonya vote ni bi a chere wonya 0 na ebie no na nka oye Eunice Jacqueline Boa ono onya abanu mu 24 onya abanu mu 14 na oye Nana Kwesi Intu no so ono sinya 14 no chede yara last Friday abanu opahe inti no ode ende watan watinofom na ende watinofom no wakwa akoto abano ma oye wanwa wo mi de na nka woyim de oye Mami Eunice Boa no na oye Nana Itu no onwane bieni anka difference mpo babema obeye kekre bi na so wode abane hihado no oye Madam Eunice Jacqueline Boa otu nana ituno oye nana Eunice ninya oye 24 manana nya oye 4 abanumu 4 nti no che yehwa difference of 10 votes na okwekodi oye Eunice Jacqueline Boa ho nti so far no yare kadea no che de mami Eunice Jacqueline Boa so far no one na we wini oye inturi akomian oye nana akomian we wini no ma tesiara Eunice mami Eunice Boa no one na tesiara me looking all kweke ka ho mawaye council of elders we gina other ma western region into so far no western region yetum yeso watu wana ba ma yenya oye council of elder Agya Kwabena mo oti western region oni
entina chesa oyoba
oye betia pepe to the American ono na ma benyini bi hwefom na last year the same corporate union so when wana what am we gina the obaya yerke ana betia yerke mami unit ona so what am we oye nana akomea no this year so nana akomea bio no mami unit asande nana akomea nechi asan akafom bio nti asan yenye betia okwekwe gina amen western region
Eda say yenu ya chase jirama ne bone yete di free atoma temperature so wonso ato abawi council of state member no musa etumi aka yefio na enkwekwe from traders advocacy group Ghana de decide eto mensi assembly awodo ni nyinanim so mommoa model sade be ya ebetumi aboa ma amanfo edi covid-19 hihye no so
Traders Advocacy Group Ghana no eye dwadifo ko a mo ade adesede eto mensi kupon assembly ahodo na nimu se omo ne Ghana fo enkanka ani adwadifo na nose mask no mo enhye fam mo ban enku entia coronavirus na nyesa ebe ha adwen titinani ani twotwo ni panyi adema eko no mo ekasai.
As a farm marketer, almost everybody is wearing their masks. Na yebe kan se empanyi no ya yenyimia ehia sana ene fata hwe yenua no financial institutions ya omo marketing ahifo na mamuska mamu de yemodwuma edwadifo na omo mamuska mamu yemodwuma no abra ahokyere we baaye no mu contribution ne sen yesremo banks ahodro amowo mokola mo kegitia mo bank market circle eyedwadifo ene kotem penten kwa no mu discard bia beto ho eti monfa montuma mobo tag ntuma no monpo maye more nose mask na yen sibdum yen chiche medwadifo sanitizer na yen chire wo ekwan wo befa so a omo ebetimi keep to the safety protocols by so doing edwadini ni betimi aba no beton ade say ya edwadifo yen ntimi keep to the safety protocols na presence or lock market ya wo bag no na me na abajiska aban no ne ankrankra ne dwumadie biara adwuma kese biara omba be so ya sene ami etimi enya nose mask ne bebrebe na ya chichama edwomfo adwadifo no omo na vulnerable utie brofo kasa na adwadifo no ye too vulnerable nti e besre se aban no etie se the institutions ni bi ye no aban no me so ya sene ni ntimi nye education no more ema adwadifo no na asomdwie ene the way I person yesi ekon ene covid ne kon ntimi nwie peye
Sire betumi edi kokko ntie di kan bo ho daru se Ghana kokko board mpanyimfo a hyefa na otwi mu anom disi wo se on board daru de fa kokko die ho akoso e wo nkran.
As part of chocolate week, yellow chocolate, like banks, they have baby pea, they promote chocolate, eat chocolate, stay healthy and grow Ghana. So be a Ghanaian biano, more support chocolate, no boy then Yamana cocoa de Ghana na ya papa na nkasa sempo atasa yendi chocolate or healthy yendi chocolate or yendi atasa yen feel there yen actually promote yen adding, you know. From now on, be andy chocolate, chocolate may feel there. Or for some group of people be it's kafubi and be a young old be a team the chocolate or healthy so.
Yeah, Ghana for any I can say we have an African heart. Into say African heart, the India Ghana near one. Into the Ghana yen yebe toamo bia into no yani cocoa board for any partnership say or more chocolate week no and I yen so ye first anniversary no yebe can boom na ya cheche Ghana chocolate no ama obie dibi no obie who say Ghana chocolate ni ye sing a brochure chocolate na or muchiche no.
Near Batoma or for dear, it was, I think, it's for me now. Chocolate ni be at the Mawanga and no moon there because I know how many it's a week long celebration here about chocolate there. And they talk like chocolate here, the cocoa papaya be money per chrono because of their health benefits. We don't eat Ghana, wear Ghana, patronize Ghanaian banking service.
Say a bit me a wording can say ama umpo mra etise. Coronavirus ati no koko no so boa e build your immunity no ma yetumi ejina yare na no eno nti na ADB no ya hwese koko na nkasa so ye be boa ama se ni duemu se ni maintenance ene ne tomu nyina no ye be taichi epia ama na konkan na Ghana fo nyina atimi enya ho mfaso senya esise ne fata
adwadifo a edi mango hudwa omudi fidodowa ene so menya ena eba madina babeton na de asefo na ebufuo ne se bra beton mango no madina awie na omode adakato no ekododowa ene so menya asane mango ho fraba no na police fo wa denta kogina kwanso ateti
se ye di nyama no free
ama
police for na ye djuma okwan so ye ba na omu hwe na ye twemu eko but ye san ye chikwa ye sha daka no kwa no mu se da bi ti we adenta for omu high okwan so ama ye nya kwan eko ehye adaka no ma no ediko we no somanya hobium enti ye sremu na mu kan kiro mu na mu ni omu kasaman na omu jaye na ye nso ye adwuma no ko so yi
Yanso ni haya wa Medina hani say di amango ni ba ye di gu intos adaka mu na ya ye di ba na say di mango ni ba na ye beton wie I say di adaka no mu kofie biomu a say ye kwa na police fo akochi driver no mu omu kochi omu nso a omu si 50 Ghana say police say ye pacha wa omu si 50 Ghana na no say sa ye free market a ye ko police kochi omu si 50 Ghana ya pachawa ansana police ninu eji yen 40 Ghana enu nti amase se driver for no mo bana se ye daka si ho mo si omu mfa esan se daka no se di kofi a omu ji yen ba ku 3 CD na ba ku 3 CD na so hye na police ko ji ni 50 Ghana okoya na so baaye enu nti omu si omu mfa ye ama ya daka nyina gugu market ha ye nya de mfa mango ni nhye mu ansana ye di ababiom enti ama ya ni amanyina egufie na pro enti ya pamucha mu hu ye mobo wo ho na mu hwa na mu ye hu bibi maye na oba tan ye bre ye sremu
on sole 2 o'clock wo baba bedo ano de wo ba be se 4 no mu de wo ba wontumi nton ade fitia no pa no menyama no na esi wo no market ni de sisi ano market na sei ento ade
ya de niama no fi ekura na si ba ye bre ye ni apata ye ton ade no ye ba market so a ye ji yes kan so ye nya apata amaye ye bre enu ne ye hawa haye
Mampenda da mahama ne nsɛm a wɔde ɛnam na lawyer for the Supreme Court no ofedi kan kogui ɛna na lawyer for no ne ankasa yɛ adwene sɛ ɔmasan yɛ bi nsɛm no mu bio ɛnɛ Supreme Court kwa setena ama lawyer for ɛno ɛyi nsɛm ahodo bia no ɛde kyerɛ Supreme Court mpanyifo
testifying, so to speak, as a witness of one party or the other, but who can be subpoenaed so that in their independent capacity they can bring to the court matters which are relevant to the determination that the court is making. Subpoenas are generally set.
I asked this question because of your paragraph paragraph 15.
15.
Yes.
15.
Yes. He said, as a result of the ruling of the court of Thursday, 11th February, it has become necessary, I'm advised and verily believe that my counsel use the subpoena powers of the court under 38 Rule 10 of CI 47 to compel the attendance of the chairperson or first respondent to appear and testify. So you subpoena her to come and testify in what capacity?
Supreme Court so asitina omukọ nam say na de mu de kwakogu masisi ekasai no wo mu a lawyer for any searchful din komo yenko na bi na igine mu e de ma second respondent mampeni na nado oni searchful kasamu yenkuti din sam ni bi
agi se ye hu se adansidi a wo de ba no adansidi emu odu na se munye du keke o na ebetimi asesa asem nani na nya ade a court wa wo ya akwadworo se wo de ugina oyonko asem so na ebedi wa asem wa wo penna na wonya adwuma no na court beboa wo dabida we ya ensem mienu a hu hia ye pa na nanka yenim se court anu asem obi amfa ne nsem ngu krata so sanse nsem na eba wiye no nyame ya aduma anka busumi ewom ya eda etosunson nanka ya se hia e wo court dem hoi eye eda etosu du wotwe dan so na no asem a yedi ye eye kwadubofo no wabie wa asem ani wabo wunkuro awie wa kire se okrata mu kra no na o se nka be frɛ adansefo enum ekwa wie akire no eye adansedie krata wo de beto court na yemienu opani asiedu nkatia ani opani pesa white obo ni nyina wie kra court ahumobro ahya court menti asa busa o se wo adansi ni biem ana se ane na akoye mpomuden ho nsem enti eba ne saa no a lawyer fo nyina ne a judges fo ekọ kokoam ne kopie ne se eye opani rojo metonu no so ye ma ne de nano asem ebeto court ye tutu nano nyina wie ye no court sa busa biem se kwadubofo anya bia no wasam a wo de ba court no wawie ama omo agitum se ampa ye wie ya boye nkura wie ya dance for ya fro mu nyina ya nyina so nyina ya de abeto manim enti ya asam no de ya kan wie eho ana court so call anoyifo a odikan first respondent say ene onso sha ase ne bo nkura eye lawyer ni a oginamu ma no epagya ne ti esori gina ho no ka se wawie na asam ka sanse omo no de asam de yi sha ase nyina no modi kan ade ato dwadada se ensam a yakwadubofo no de aba beto dwade aba court dem no enyina so bi anim omo dance die no ensisi so enu nti no enya de a omo wa no ye bia ne mpokra no eye nka omo dance ni eye maami Jane Mensa nanka omo agina no asem a ye friend witness statement yi ade aba no omo na kra mfre ni biem sanse eye ensam a opani asiedu nkatia beka ye ensam a eye pesa white beka ye ani rojo metunu no beka ye no ama omo asem no kra no ahyem kena ama omo asem no kra mu ayedu se yampa omu ni asem anu nti no omo na enka hwe no kwasem ni eye saa be na so na eye anoyifo otoso mienu second respondent omo so gina o se yenso ye na kra mfre eye chema makmanu enu obeka na asem bia eye kwadubofo ya omo so motiko apai adaya yemfa asoma ahoma enso eye maami Jane Mensa na omran be gina adakem adaya sanse ni nsem bia o kan o court anim no o kire ye se empokra no se akwanya ba na se ogina adakamu a ensem ni bi wo ha obenya no ayi enu nti no mo no de omu gina ho no man se chinchine a omu pese ye bie omasem nani ye bie omasem nani awie no na court nso sanhye na no mo kaya abrofo kese ba ko ebeto dwa na ye interrogatories ene ni asaba biem aye subpoena eno ne nkyerase no aye kakra bi se court enhye eye madam J Mensa no mra no mbegina adakam na omuntoto na no ene eho ne ba bia ye duruye na abusuafo asamba kaya judge pani ba ku busa se na no ye ena ya de ya no asamba to dwa ye ka se eye oba J Mensa emra bia ni hono ma ehye ne keten se age so obegina adakam no akasa enu nti ni court de enya de a saa asɛm a eye kodubɔfo no epe no ombɛfofo so enu nti se nei omosa makwan biem se yenko waya asɛm nani ne ensamfa tumi mawo se yemfa homan so ma me J Mensa kon no ombegina adakam mu no nka na no asɛm a unyi ni se asɛm a yaya no kan ye no ana ye side ya no esa akwakofa ne asa tietia so se ne kan ye boa sisi ade oba pa J Mensa obetuma begina court nim abusuafo asɛm sebe ɛhɔ ani baabi a yaba bedru nyame ya adomo a ɔkyena ɛna court ɛde nano asɛm ɛba betu dwa ɛno nti mesre asɛm ba ko ene ɛsan betu dwa na ehu hia ye pa na court sɛ timu biem sɛ maami J Mensa sɛ ɔde nano asɛm agu krataa so ayɛ fɛ ne witness statement na anya danseɛ ɛno nkyerɛ sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ ɛhyɛ no sɛ kyinkyina mba megina adaka mu enti ɛno deɛ kwadubɔfoɔ no enyae ka ene eno nso ebeto dwa abusuafo ye bewie no ye lawyer pani esori gina ho ka se eye court nhihye ya ode aba court akwankyera ode aba se obi bia mfa nano asem enkuchiringu krata so na nyame ya adomo a eda etoso dunson ye mfa ne nyam beto court anim na eda etoso du wotwe ahia no obesre se court ema ne nya wo hye sanse ye hu se kwadubɔfoɔ no aya na omunsam no etai senti no abribia no omo pese omo do omo ne tita ho na omo hwe yen ne ayeye eti court nhye se obi bia mfa ne krata emra ebra obi ade ba etinya se we edikan de ba na we akoteta baabi na ono edikan de ne de aba eti court nhwe se saade no ebekoso ena ebiem anya se court saade na no asema ba se na no mo bekaya court se yemfa ya dance die krata amra no na afei na obi se ono de or the application for stay of proceedings or the nhyehyɛ bia na so de adesrede akoto court anim se court entwentwen ne dwumadi a wodi so nti no waondi saa nhyehyɛ no so da bi wei ɛyɛ nhyehyɛ a court edi aba enti ɛwɔ sɛ obibia edi so abusuafo wei ni bebia ebeduye nyame ya adom a dasene yebesan ahia ɛwɔ fidua mu ha sɛ biem mesra mu sima baako ɛyɛ ya lawyer fo a ene ɔmo kan ye ho ha sɛ Agya Fatima to Abubakar Mamunim Minister Designate for Information still maintain Kwadwo upon Kroma ewa hasei Patriot Faisal lawyer enso ewa hasei ena ya lawyer for MI nyamia no nukre ne ya kan hwehwemu ni pensempensemu a ye omo ena etachiri omo bo omo ho adwuma ye pa ene enso lawyer Kutampa lawyer Frank Davis lawyer Kwaku Asrifi lawyer Adodapa lawyer Joyce Opoku Boateng lawyer Shelamen Kampremo lawyer Victoria Buff lawyer Ochere Ajekum lawyer Dr. Ernesto Usudapa na professor ya upon lawyer nso bekan ho keyamo a enso kan ho ne ene chema makmenu nso betai yachi ene na ebiem lawyer Gabi Ochere Dako enso ebekan ye ho ena lawyer Kowasuman medam ase nyame nhyiramo. Okay.
Yes. Nana.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Today, before the Supreme Court, the lawyers for the petitioner brought a motion or an application to reopen his case on the grounds that were stated in the affidavit of the petitioner. And the basic ground was that at the time that the petitioner closed his case, the petitioner did so with a legitimate expectation that the petitioner would have the opportunity at the appropriate time to cross-examine the witnesses of the respondents. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you realize that the respondents filed witness statements. They also represented to the court that they were going to make themselves available for cross-examination. So at the point in time that the petitioner closed his case, he had that legitimate expectation that he would have the opportunity to cross-examine the chairperson of the Electoral Commission in particular. Now, let me put it right that certain misrepresentations have been made to you this afternoon. It is not true in law that a party cannot be asked to testify or a party cannot testify at the trial. That is not true. That's not a true legal position. In fact, you were all here in 2018. His Excellency the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, testified during the election petition that was filed by himself, His Excellency Nana Dodangwa Akufo-Addo, and Jake Obichebi Lamte. They were all parties. Bawumia was a party and he testified. So it is entirely wrong to say that a party cannot testify at a trial. In any case, the subpoena that we are seeking to bring or to file in court is not designed to make the Electoral Commission as a corporate entity to testify or file a witness statement and be cross-examined. It is directed at Madam Jane Adukwe-Mensah, the chairperson of the commission and the returning officer under the Constitution for the 2020 general elections. Now, I must put it on record that as a returning officer, she is distinct and different from the commission as a corporate body. There's a long line of decided cases on this matter, dating back to the famous English case of Solomon and Solomon. So, for them to seek to confuse Jane Mensah in her capacity as the returning officer with the Electoral Commission is, to say the least, disingenuous. And I think the lead counsel for the petitioner made that very, very clear to their lordships. And you realize that when their lordships were questioning, it was his lordship, the Chief Justice himself, who made a reference to their ruling. And in that ruling, it was that the justices took the position that you cannot compel a party to testify. And we are not seeking to compel a party to testify. We are seeking to compel Jane Mensah to testify in her capacity as the returning officer for the elections. Okay, and she said, as I've said, it's as if to say that the chairman of the board of directors or the CEO of a company is the same as the company. You can't conflate the two. So let us, make that abundantly clear. We also want to make it clear that we are not in court seeking to compel her to testify because we think that our case hasn't been made out. First of all, let me say this. It is not left to the lawyers of the respondents to determine whether on a balance of probabilities we have been able to make out a case. They have decided that given the evidence that we have laid, they will not put their clients on the stand. It is now left to the court to decide. And by the way, the mechanism of cross-examination is a time-tested tool for eliciting evidence. Now, going by the logic that has been espoused by Kojo Opon, or the Honorable Kojo Opon Nkrumah, it means that even in a normal trial, the plaintiff will give his evidence, the defendant will give his evidence and no one will have a right to cross-examine. And the court can go ahead and then make a decision based upon that. I think that that approach is alien to the law. It is not known to our system of jurisprudence. Let me also make it clear that there is nowhere in CI 99 that it is provided that a party cannot seek to issue a subpoena to bring a witness to testify. Now that point was made by the Honorable Kojo Opon Nkrumah, and then he tried to link it to the fact that the Honorable Marietta Brew Opon Apia Opon, was the Attorney General at the time that CI 99 was formulated and laid before Parliament. Now, if you look at CI 99, it does not provide against compelling a witness to come and testify. So the subpoena that we are seeking to issue is in pursuit of the truth. We want Ghanaians to know how 51.589 became 50.08 something. Ghanaians, have a constitutional right to know. And so for you to say that just by reason only of the fact that we are seeking to get her to come and testify, we are doing so because a case is empty and there's no evidence to prove it, is totally disingenuous. And so for us as a team, we have made a case, but we want the court to see that the truth in this matter has been revealed. And also, you remember that lead counsel, Mr. Tachuchi Carter, made a reference to something that Jane Mensah said during her declaration. In making the declaration on the 9th of December, she said, "Glory to God." Okay? That she was giving glory to God for the fair and transparent elections that have been held. Now, there is no better way to glorify God than to tell the truth. The truth is very, very important. If you want to glorify God, you take an oath and you tell the truth. And Christ himself said it in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 32, that you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Jane Mensah should voluntarily take the box, tell the truth, and that truth shall set her free as the returning officer of these elections. May I have some questions?
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Ayini. The respondents have said umpteenth times that your side and your lead counsel did not show ample evidence to, as it were, ask for the reliefs he's asking for. I know as a spokesperson you say that he has adduced enough evidence, and the key word here is material effect. That's the word they used here. Are you not worried?
I didn't get the last part. Can you come closer? Sorry. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much again. My question is that counsel for the respondent have said umpteenth times that your side has not exhibited or shown material effect to the reliefs they are asking for. And I'm saying that I know as spokesperson for the petitioner, you say that he has shown enough evidence. But on a scale of 0 to 10, how sure are you that this new application you have tabled before the court would not suffer another setback?
Well, that is an excellent question with respect to the level of certainty that it won't suffer a setback. All right? Because if what has gone before is anything to go by, I am not very optimistic. But I am disappointed that the court may not give me a reason to be very optimistic. All right? However, when it comes to whether or not we have laid sufficient evidence, the fact is this: we laid evidence to show that there were infractions. And you witness the fact that we led evidence showing that there has been vote padding. And they themselves admitted that there had been vote padding. We led evidence showing, for instance, that in some cases, such as in the Eastern region, they brought documents that were conflicting. We also led evidence that stands uncontradicted, that the Form 13 that they sought to tender is an afterthought, or was an afterthought. And I think that is where they are running away from. Okay? And I will wait for the court's ruling on this one to tell you why the Form 13 is the reason Jane Mensah is running away.
Thank you very much. In your address, you spoke about the fact that the court, in this ruling concerning the application for the last one that the court sat on, ruled that indeed the court cannot compel a party to give witness statements.
That is so.
What's your operationalization of the use of the word party? Because for us as lay people, party could also mean an individual interested in a matter. Really?
Well, are you done with your question?
I am done, yes.
All right. From a legal, technical point of view, Madam Jane Mensah is not a party to this suit. The two parties, besides the petitioner, are the Electoral Commission of Ghana, a duly constituted independent corporate body under the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And because it is a duly constituted independent body, it could have decided that Mr. Tete or Dr. Bosman should be the ones filing this in the witness statements. Now, if that were the case, wouldn't it have been proper for the petitioner to then say, look, the person who declared the results and the person appointed under the Constitution to do so is Madam Jane Mensah, and I want to subpoena her to come and give evidence in addition to what has been given by either Mr. Tete or his fellow the deputy commissioners. That would have been proper in law under the Constitution and laws of Ghana. That would have been proper. And so to say that because she is representing the commission, she is the commission, all right, it's a legally untenable proposition.
Thank you.
I have a question. All right, thank you very much. Please, what do you say to the argument by the counsel for first and second respondent that the court has already made a determination on the fact that it cannot compel the EC chair to mount the witness box? And so you coming through with this application to reopen case and then to subpoena her is an attempt to go through the back door and essentially asking the court to rescind a decision that it has already made.
Well, I would have referred you to the answer that I gave to your colleague from the GBC. But let me explain again, okay, that the whole notion that there is a judicial bar was introduced into the argument by one of the justices. And we confronted them with their own ruling. And in that ruling, constant reference was being made to the party, a party to the proceedings. And I have just said that Madam Jane Mensah is not a party to the proceedings. Now, the fact that she had elected to give evidence on behalf of the Electoral Commission itself, on behalf of, shows that she is not the Electoral Commission. All right? Logically, you cannot say I am doing something on behalf of somebody and then turn around and say I am that person. I don't see how you can do that. So, for us, she's not a party to the proceedings, and therefore, all right, then if that were the case, then Rojo Metilnunu is the same as His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Will you conflate the two? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's amen.
You know, Central for Ghana this year, we are emotion. Yabesrena yabo the Dr. Ini kan no tofa e wotwi kasem. Edi kan we be bisa se ene ede na yebeye no court. The hu ni TV so no ede na kira nkasa. The kire ye tie. The petitioner John Dramani Mahama wabodi nkru awie wakana asem awie wa friend dance for me and some media dance here amano awie in this petition. Na nenso ehho akohia se oba court nanim na nidiem osre court ne se court no emma ne ho kwan na onsanso en reopen the case senebeya electoral commission ba no dania abato ayeto no 2027 December ono na esi ne naso a obobo sunsunsanso no yebetumi ahye no amana bedi adanse ama John Dramani Mahama enunti de na yehu no court no eya desrede a yede abeto court na nim se nidiem omama ye kwan na ye reopen ye case na eno so te said de amote the president of the bench eya justice ani yeboa se oka no a settled principle of law. Say party B ebon ede na assemble court no bon nkro wie frɛ na dance fo wie a bibi betumi asia ebetumi amana sanso aba court no was nidiem ma me kwan na men sanso reopen me case na men frɛ dance ni foforo esi da enya de foforo eno nti na justice ani yebo a e ka asem no in open court na de nti e ho akohia se yeba court na nim bie na yebesre court no se nidiem on my kwan na yen reopen ye case and be ya yebetumi ahye Jimensa amana ba bedi adanse no ene se ye start ya ye kasa asem we no Jimensa ene electoral commission for krata o maswaide o musa sha ase a ye frɛ no affidavits ene adanse krata mpo a Jimensa na nkasa de beto court na nim no ni nyina o maka ne o mu se eye den a Jimensa beba dakam no abedi adanse enti mo bekaya emra lawyer for the petitioner Ora Chachuchika tape se court no be ma ne kwan na at the case management stage ye bisa Jimensa nsemfu abe edumienu no Jimensa ankasa in her affidavits e chese adanse na waswai e kan se e ma court no ma John Mahama ne na lawyer for sa kwanya no because emre be so a obeba adakam a yebetumi ebisa ne sansem ni nyina eno nti se edru electoral commission ne so no te se de nyina ehu ye no omo se omo asese omo adwen na omo nyam frɛ Jimensa biem ema ne membe di adanse de a ene ye te se de omo ankasa etimi ka asem baako na no achi omo asese omo adwen a court no se ye okay no the petitioner so betimi asesa na adwen se at the time when me close me case no na ye nyina ye nim se mami beba adakama bedi adanse nti se ne ono se on ma media dance a ana se isi se on frɛ no mani media dance ma electoral commission ene ni die mo ma me kwan na me reopen me case na me as John Mahama the petitioner me frɛ no mani media dance ma me as an adverse witness ye ni die nti a we was ye achinya e was ye twen ho dare kra because I will bet to me asesa wa adwen a as the first respondent or as the chairperson of the first respondent petitioner no be subetimi asesa na adwen because the circumstances have changed na busuafo enya yenko a ena eye yenwanwa se Jimensa se say the all kase o media dance be ne nyina ye beka no kra sem trofo aye wo ha ne Ghana fo ne nyina ye hwe animu se te said there in the 2013 election petition case Dr. Afarijan be di adanse be defending the juma no maame no so ebe baba be di adanse especially when na wadi kan wa da dance nkranta mu se oba be di adanse na se mo be hwa even the courts eda electoral commission lawyer for ka say Jimensa ma da kan mu man be di adanse bi mo be kaya even the court ka say aye o mo nwanwa nti the president of the bench say obetu asem na hye na aboa ama a lawyer for na by the next day any o ma ba be this asem no ho nkomo so enye yenko ana ne ye wosa expectation this Jimensa will testify everyone including the bench And if we say it was based on ono ankasa na numu asɛm a na waka na busuafo de ye nuanom MPP for kan say e ma court no mpene so e ma ye reopen your case e ma ye nhyeji mensa mani media dance e ma the petitioner because ye asɛm a ye de ba court no kra no ye ntimi improve ye na te say the doctor yi ne kan ye no MPP for kodwo opon kroma onya judge enu ti say John Mahama ne na lawyer for etimi approve o masem na o mutimi improve o masem no enye ono na beka. That is an issue within the bosom of the court. Yeah, dream mu die. If free say we've made a compelling case because ya asem where dey ba court no e tie even the respondents have agreed to our case. Ya asem where dey ba court no say per Jimensa abatonsu nsanso a odi tu dwa no. Wo hwe figures e wo mu a Omampenya Kufuado, we nya 51.595 Jimensa ka so nya no. Ne momo nya 49.625. Because Jimensa ankasa nu mu asem ne so Omampenya Kufuado nya ma no 6,713,413. And was the total valid votes no e ma papa ne mu dodo no. E 13,434,574. You divide 6,730,413 by 13,434,574 now multiply by 100. Obetimi ayesa calculation on your own. You get 50.098 and not 51.595. Now what the Techiman South votes 128,018 votes are. Jimensa ka say onyanya Techiman South results. Name mo be declare bano because what the some money nyina ka jo ma ho a still candidate Akufo-Addo benya more than 50% no. So we yes ankuntabuo na hu say enya no kre because the some money ka jo ma ho a candidate Akufo-Addo ba 49.625. Declaration is so flawed to say. So what can even the percentages of Jimensa ankasa de ma the 12 presidential candidates ni bomu a unya 100.3%. And the Electoral Commission and the second respondents in court have all agreed that this declaration was wrong. They have all agreed. And so to the extent say that declaration where Omuamadia to Muse anya papa no. And no the only declaration to date of the 2020 presidential election. Fufrobia meka ho yensesemu na petitioner John Mahama aba court on behalf of all of us as Ghanaians to defend the constitution. So Mampenya Akufo-Addo yese wa wene wenya 50% and over as dictated by the constitution. It means that in effect they have agreed with the petitioner. Now the American to one say abusuafo enya no krese Jimensa were disqualified. Na obi antumi hye no so media dance. They said the doctor yi ne chire mu a lawyer penyin wo court lawyer Chachuchi Kata chire mu no. The court no kan na watwe atwa mu ne say court eni to me say obehye a party in a case na waba be dia dance party no betimi aka say me fra dance for na me fra dance for. And the party in this case is the Electoral Commission of Ghana. They be ayaba na ye frɛ the parties in the case ye ka the petitioner represented by ye maame Obapenyi Professor Opokunana Jane Opokunana Agyaman. So your first respondent I say Electoral Commission. Your first second respondent is so Mampenya Akufo-Addo. Jimensa onye party to this case. Onka ho bi. Obi andi wa Ghana ha obetimi aka say Electoral Commission ye obibi na nya. O the Electoral Commission kokota si Jimensa because the Electoral Commission is a body corporate. The law says a company law nim say a body corporate has a separate and distinct personality from an individual. And unti ye nyina ye ntia say the court no can say a party cannot be compelled to give evidence. No? It doesn't apply to Jimensa because Jimensa is not a party. Jimensa your oman sonfo. She is a public officer entrusted with the constitutional duty. Ya to abewie ono na hwe abato no so ono na boboye esunsunsun so boboye ono na de ne sa hya ase mana ye mra. Na emra ma ho kwan se utimi supina no utimi hye no e ma ne bedi andanse. Enu ti sa asem na omo ka no so nya no kre. Enu ti abusuafo ye asem ye de to court na nimni. Se de ye ka no na ye no kre. Se de ye de enuano mo ka na ye no kre no court no e de beba abonten ochina. Na court no de ba na ye betu anamo bi afa ho a ye be mama hu. We are clear in our minds that we have made a compelling case. Now the air can say that bang all across the world. Now man who say Electoral Commissioner bi aye adwuma. Na your friend say omra ne ntoto na no fa say adwuma no na odwane. Why are you running away from accountability? You should even be happy, sir. I am being given an opportunity to justify my role and my conduct and show said I am part of my Rene. Now, brother come near to one misa unsembisaka krebi na uti unfifre na memma na lawyer for the second respondent and near bra would defend it to the stand say even the president of the bench had to come and say minia asem way they can shut down fan krasa. I don't know when you are crying more than the bereaved. So you should know, sir, and don't let them succeed in reducing this issue to an issue between John Mahama, the petitioner, and the Electoral Commission of Mampenye Kufuor. This issue is about all of us as Ghanaians. Your constitution is say, and son will be by your Mampenye, just when more than 50% of total valid votes. Or Mampenye Kufuor, and Kayemu be able to meet the Abacot. Bambrana say, I just said John Mahama. Into what they are bad for all of us. And that is why we must all be interested in this case and insist, sir, Jimen's I any you a car or some yeno. Near the Juma Shan and South Wayne Yeno, or Baby Boo, the Juma Wakonta, the Munin. I want to say thank you.
See why they don't like you, sir.
Thank you very much. That was the second of the 2 daily press conferences that usually are organized. Addressed by the petitioners and usually the second respondents. Indeed, today is day number 15 in terms of the number of times that the court has sat. And the first respondents, the EC, has never addressed any